It's time to come together to get it done so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind. Not one single child.
Do you think less parents are being involved, and that's probably
It could be lack of parental involvement, especially single parent homes, or you got two parents that work and trying to make the school piece of it and the home piece, trying to balance everything in society. So it could be.
I'm the person you destroyed for fun. I'm the person, but not the only one.
I'm the person whose name you didn't know. I'm the person you just can't let go.
I am the person who has feelings too.
I am the person, just like you.
Make a stand. We're a band.
Harvard education professor Richard Elmore on the 2001 No Child Left Behind Act. Quote, "The single largest and the single most damaging expansion of federal power over the nation's education system in history." Close quote. Is he right about that, Mark?
Let's go. I spend ungodly amounts of hours watching original YouTube content. Not that regurgitated stuff like network television, but channels like supereyepatch, Random Black Gamer, Entertain the Elk, and Upper Echelon Gamers. Although the mention of those channels might be buzzwords for the almighty algorithm, they also represent some of the best and articulate channels on YouTube. The work in this video won't be quite as eloquent as those channels, but I aim to delve into an idea, while not new, I think needs a bit of expansion. What if the motto, "everyone is a winner," caused kids of the 2000s to become entitled? In the year 2000, there were a couple of things I remember like yesterday. I remember people's fear of computer systems being crippled by the supposed Y2K bug. I also recall that while I was in the Army, they changed the motto to Army of One. People hated that shit. My memory beckons back to the PlayStation 2 launch, and also DeviantArt popping up for the first time. But perhaps the one thing that stood out to me about the 2000s for that time was how "everyone is a winner" or "no child left behind" became popular banners impressed upon young children, or to reference children of that era. Cyberbullying also had a big stink made of it. No child was to be bullied, left behind, or made to feel like a loser.
It's been 10 years since the No Child Left Behind Act was passed by Congress and signed by President Bush. Today, its performance is beyond dispute. The act came with a massive infusion of new federal spending and federal control, but student achievement has been flat, and states have less flexibility today than before the act was passed. A big investment without much measurable return.
I recant those memories for a reason. All those kids who were raised and grew up under the aforementioned banners are now in their 20s and 30s. I did some unscheduled thinking, I know, right? And said to myself, what if this is the reason all my once favorite TV shows suck? Maybe that SJW weak-minded comic book is now penned by one of these kids. So to put it in short, what if the reason everything sucks today, media, all of it, is that no one got to be a loser yesterday?
Through gymnastics and later springboard and platform diving, I learned goal setting, hard work, and resilience. And lessons in sports proved instructive in life. So fast forward several decades, my son Joshua started playing youth soccer when he was 6. Now, I did not anticipate this would be the start of his journey to the World Cup, but I did think he would have fun and begin to get a taste of some of the lessons I found so valuable growing up as an athlete. Instead, he got a participation trophy. You've got to be kidding me. In my time as an athlete and competitor, trophies were reserved for top-level performance, mastering a skill, victory. This new world, where you could show up and get a trophy, was shocking. I was outraged. Not only were these participation trophies effectively party favors, disturbing the kids' ability to differentiate between participation and achievement, But once this phenomenon entered my consciousness, I couldn't get it out. I started seeing the dangers of participation trophies everywhere. I was stalked by imaginary people, children and adults, protectively encased against failure by those trying to guard them from the truth.
I want to keep the focus on the year 2000 to 2010 to be specific. I think a lot of us can agree that each decade has some sort of defining quality. The 70s gave us disco, while the 90s saw the rise of the hip and edgy dark hero, anti-hero if you will. So I think one of the things that the 2000s, we shall call them, gave us was weak-minded children who through a bunch of coddling are now angry, bitter, and self-entitled writers, artists, celebrities, but worst of all, they now operate our society.
A lot of controversy across the country this week. Should all kids who participate in a sporting event get a trophy, or only the kids who win? Well, a poll just recently released from Reason Root found that 57% of Americans feel that only winning players should get a trophy. 40% say all of the kids who participate should get one. Debate boiling down to teaching your kids about winning and losing and rewarding them for a job well done, even though they did not win.
Touching back on my shoddy memory, no need to worry, I did some research this time. I can recall a lot of people's disgust in the idea of the everyone is a winner concept. At first, I slightly didn't like it, but I also had 0 children back then, so why would I take it seriously? Now, I'm not saying you have to have children to understand the concept of no child left behind or everyone is a winner, but it may help. Also, that's a video for another time.
It's time to come together to get it done so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind, not one single child. When schools do not teach and will not change, parents and students must have other meaningful options.
Now I can hear someone screaming, but how do you know these things connect? And my answer is, I don't know. That's why I'm here to explore the concept. I think these concepts have greatly crippled modern society, but you can think whatever you want. I did a search on YouTube, and on the concept of bullying, I had planned to show you guys some fancy clips on the topic to facilitate my point. But in that search, I found that bullying or anti-bullying campaigns, particularly in video form, go further back than 14 years. The concept of anti-bullying is older than that, but I think it's the philosophy and the era before the 21st century that better equipped young people for the future. I was born in the 1970s, and during that time frame, the discipline of children, while on the decline, was still more desirable than the era of everyone is a winner. You were allowed to fail, and through failure, you learned how to get better. You were allowed to compete in things such as sports, without worrying about your MVP performance being invalidated by things such as a participation trophy. Flash forward to the 2000s, and the certificates of participation began to spring up all over the place. We spent the better part of the decade protecting children from fears that manifested despite the very philosophy that was designed to prevent them.
It didn't provide sunshine, it provided a bright, shiny lie. We're now telling these kids and their parents that those children are proficient. They are now up to speed educationally, but the definition of proficiency, what it means, isn't real proficiency. It is a lie that's designed to keep schools and districts out of trouble while not having to actually educate kids any better.
Most teenagers today suffer from some form of anxiety, depression, and other mental challenges. Yet no one really pauses to ask why. The kids of the 2000s never got to fight their bully, so they didn't learn perseverance. Those kids of the 2000s were told everyone is a winner, so now they don't see any flaws in what they do. Kids of the 2000s received participation certificates in place of actual trophies, and so as adults, they have become entitled. Everything they do or participate in must now make them right or validate their opinions. How else do you come up with the clueless writers who constantly self-insert into modern media? Which brings us to the artists, writers, game designers, and other people who are responsible for preserving our media performing in the way that they do. I watch many videos on how bad writing the movies are. I've also watched how bad American comics have become, how feminism and SJWs have overtaken everything. To great pleasure on most days, I watch these videos. But they are what got me really to see the connection. The now late 20s and 30s creators struggled to come up with new ideas, and now they are stuck recycling the shows their parents loved, only to fail in their efforts, but also failing to acknowledge that failure. It's amusing just to see them struggle to come up with nostalgic concepts from older properties, and then aim their angst and anger against that same property. It's almost as if they are taking their hatred for their shitty childhood out on their dad's favorite old show. What isn't funny, however, is the disrespect they show to these properties. Instead of coming up with new and innovative lore to the character, they give the quick fix of what if. What if we gender swap Spider-Man? What if we kill John Connor and make his replacement a Hispanic female midget? They mock the things they are in charge of while simultaneously trying to copy what made it successful. Star Wars, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Terminator are but a few examples.
Something wow.
I actually think we have like a lost generation now, a generation that can't cope with losing, so they hide behind social media, and they attack through social media where they're anonymous.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, unfortunately, first there was that type of meanness or bullying without the social media, and now we have it with social media, which is a huge problem that, again, they can't have high enough self-esteem to congratulate someone else for a job well done. So that's unfortunate.
These 2000 babies, if we can call them that, now wear the damage of No Child Left Behind, and everyone is a winner on their shoulders with great pride. All the while wondering, why? Why am I empty? Why can't I be creative? Why, if I am a winner, does everything still suck? Some people listening to this may disagree, but ask around. See how these kids of today, a 15-year-old perhaps, feel on average. Are they sad? Are they anxious all the time? Are they feeling empty? Do they have insomnia? If the answer to all of these questions is yes, then it's most likely because they inherited a twisted, mutated form of everyone is a winner. So now we sit, all of us, with shitty TV shows like Batwoman, where villains catch their prey in blankets. We sit and have to trade in character development for superficial homosexual place markers. We have to suffer through crappy attempts to cash in on the 80s and 90s nostalgia. Wonder Woman 84 comes to mind. Worst of all, I don't think any of these 2000 babies will ever be happy, and in turn, we'll all continue to suffer.
It's time to come together to get it done, so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind.
The law, No Child Left Behind, as it currently stands, is 4 years overdue for being rewritten. It is far too punitive, it is far too prescriptive, led to a dumbing down of standards, led to a narrowing of the curriculum. And at a time when we have to get better, faster education than we ever have, we can't afford to have the law of the land be one that has so many perverse incentives or disincentives to the kind of progress we want to see.
Most people now accept that No Child Left Behind is a failure. The reality is, it's not No Child Left Behind that is ultimately the problem. It's the very process by which federal education policy is made.
Resist the urge to live a life portraying an image that everything is awesome, when sometimes we learn the most by talking about situations that are not awesome. Have critical conversations early. Don't wait until something blows up. If we did this well, performance in our workforce and our schools would improve, the divorce rate would drop dramatically, and the rate of personal development would skyrocket. But these are topics for another time.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this video so far. I took a little bit of time to do research and put this together. I didn't get to go over things like token characters, empty social messaging, predictable writing, or gender swaps. But those are just a few of the things that's driving our media and our society down the drain. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, give me a like and a follow and share it with a friend. I appreciate it always. And until next time, if you can't be good at it. Peace.